This morning, gas was over $6 a gallon. Inflation is here, whether it's your gas, your groceries, or something else. The cost of everyday consumer goods and services are going through the roof. And yes, that also seems to be the case in the real estate market. So if you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in an inflationary period, is that a good idea? That's what we're gonna find out on this video. Hi, I'm Mike Cuevas with Big Block Realty, and what we're gonna do on this video is we're gonna talk about inflation and what the inflation we're experiencing today, which is the highest in our country's history, has anything to do with the real estate market. And if you're thinking about buying or selling, is right now a good time to do it? Overall, we're getting 4 questions that consumers are asking us about this current real estate market and inflation and what it means for them. And we're gonna go ahead and answer those questions each one by one right now. So question number 1, if you own a property, is inflation going to affect your property's current value? And yes and no. So what we're seeing in inflation is we're now seeing interest rates rise. So basically what people could have afforded 2 months ago, they can no longer afford, or what people could have afforded last week, they can no longer afford this week. And that's a big deal. And with interest rates so low, money was cheap. So people were buying things left and right because they can afford the monthly payment to go with that. However, as these rates continue to rise, there's gonna be less people who can afford to buy your property. But where it does have an effect is going to be anything that involves financing, because the cost to borrow money is going up. The good news that we still see right now today, though, is that the demand is still high. It's not what it was a couple months ago, but it is still very good and it's still very high. So as of the time of this recording, as of May 22, you're gonna wanna watch those things. Watch the demand. When the demand goes away, or if it goes away and rates rise, then yes, you're probably going to see your house value decrease, because there's just simply going to be less affordable or less people that can afford to buy it. The next question is, if you're buying a house, or if you're selling and buying at the same time, should I buy a house right now in an inflationary period? Is that really a good idea? One of the questions we're getting from people is like, dude, should I buy this house? My rate's going to be too high. So I want to explain traditionally what happens in a recession period, because that's where this country is headed. We are headed into a recession. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing, though, when it comes to real estate, and I'll explain why. Traditionally, when you head into a recession, what happens is, if you follow the bond market and the interest rate markets in terms of mortgage, is that as the recession gets worse and worse, what'll happen is that the interest rates typically go down. So what a lot of the lenders are saying and predicting as of right now is that people who are looking to purchase a property right now, they'll be locking into what you call like an ARM, or an adjustable rate mortgage, so they can get a little bit lower of a rate. But all indicators are showing, if you follow the trends, that by the 4th quarter of this year in 2022, when the recession's here, we're predicting that rates are gonna go back down. So what does this mean for you as a buyer? Well, the strategy that many people in the know are using are gonna be, hey, let's go out and buy a house right now. Yes, I might get a 6% interest rate, but I already know that I'm gonna be refinancing that interest rate in the 4th quarter of this year down to where the rates will come to. Now, there is some risk in this, obviously. This is nothing that is guaranteed to happen. I can't guarantee the rates are, no one controls that. But what you can do is follow past statistics. And you gotta remember that buying a house is still an investment. Yes, it's a place to live, but it's an investment, and every investment involves risk. The next question is, with inflation, should I sell my house right now, or should I hold? Should I just cash out right now and be done with this and take the money and laugh all the way to the bank? So here's the answer to this question. That answer is gonna be up to you. If you're selling the house you live in, well, you need to go somewhere as well, right? So you have to make sure that even if you're gonna cash out on that house, know that you're gonna take those funds, take that equity, and put it into something else at a higher price. So the question that I would really be asking yourself is, hey, if you live in the house as your primary residence, should I sell now? Well, can you move into something else that is gonna be equal or comparable, and can you live with that? Anytime the market's at a peak, which I believe we are right now, hell yes, it's a good time to sell. Like, if the values go down and we see a shift, they're not gonna go back up right away. So I do believe that if you were to sell right now, yes, you are peaking at the top of the market. However, you gotta make sure you have a place to go at the same time. And number 4, does inflation mean a real estate crash is coming? Now, I just did a whole other video on this. I would tell you to go ahead and make sure you watch that in full to get the in-depths. But does inflation mean a crash is coming? Not necessarily. Now, what inflation is, it just makes everything less affordable. But what we have to realize is that the demand in real estate is still extremely high. Now, in the event that interest rates just go through the freaking roof and they go to 7 or 8% and no one can afford your $2 million house, well, of course, the property values are going to go down. This is just good old supply and demand. What I would tell you specific to the San Diego market though is that keep an eye on demand, okay? That is going to be the key. When you see demand dip, that's when you know that the property values are going to dip as long as interest rates go higher. Again, that is my opinion. I don't think there's going to be a crash. I think there's going to be a correction, and a much needed one. Let's be honest, a lot of the property values went through the roof, 30, 40% in 3 years. Although that's great for your bank account, it's not healthy for the overall real estate market. And a lot of people have been priced out of it, unfortunately. Now, again, this is my opinion. I'd love to get yours. Go ahead and make sure you comment in the comments below. Tell me what you think, and we'll see, prove me wrong, you know? So there you have it. There's some of the things you need to think about in terms of inflation in real estate. Is right now a good time to buy or sell? Well, look at all the information I just laid out for you. And more importantly, give us a call if you have further questions. We're experts at this. We help people buy and sell throughout San Diego each and every day. And we'd be happy to help you too, whether that's a conversation or you actually need help and you need to be assisted in your buying or selling process. We have your back. So feel free to check out the rest of the videos on our channel. If you like what you saw here, make sure you go ahead and subscribe as well. But reach out to Your Real Estate Dudes. Visit us at yourrealestatedudes.com and contact one of us. We'll be happy to serve you. Thanks for watching this video. My name is Mike Cuevas with Big Block Realty. We'll see you on the next one.